Watching your child grow up brings a parent great joy. When your child has disabilities, every accomplishment means so much. As your child reaches the teenage years, it's time to start letting go. It's time to encourage them to take steps toward independence and becoming an adult. When your child is a teenager, soon to leave high school, you've reached a time of transition. A new phase of life is about to begin. All young people face many choices about careers, post-secondary education, living arrangements, and social life. For young people with disabilities, these decisions are complicated by the need to accommodate their disabilities. For some young people, transition also means getting involved with many unfamiliar adult disability services.
Parents are concerned. They wonder, what will my child do after high school? Where will my child live? Will he be safe? Will my child be able to earn a living? Will my child have any friends? Knowing what to expect after high school makes the whole transition occur much more smoothly.
Many families have made successful transitions or are working toward the goal of independent living. Their stories will inspire you.
Drop. Good dog.
Donna is on her own at age 22, a high school graduate with a full-time job at a child care center. She lives in her own apartment and takes the bus or rides her bike to work. She can walk to the grocery store, medical clinic, or church. Donna has mild cognitive delays and a seizure disorder, but she also has many skills. Donna's parents began preparing for her transition from high school when she was very young.
We didn't use the term transition, but we thought in junior high years, as she entered school in 7th grade, that she needed to have available the curriculum that other kids took advantage of. We wanted her to be able to go to classes like home economics, learn to cook, and sew, and do the things that she would need to do in her adult life, in everyday activities.
I think one of the most important things is making sure that we do not accept the limitations that others might impose.
As young as 5 years old, Donna loved to teach, playing school with her dolls. During her high school years, she volunteered at Head Start and babysat at her church. Donna even enrolled in a college training course to receive a certificate in child care.
I learned something every day new from each and every kid.
Donna enjoys her job and her independence.
As the child develops confidence and gets their independence, they can just do things beyond what any of us would expect. The necessary ingredient is getting that confidence, but Donna has surpassed the expectations of almost any of us.
Donna enjoys her friends and the many pen pals she writes around the country.
The most important thing, I think, in adult life is being able to feel you're like other people, to have friends, to have your own income, to have a job, to live on your own, and those are things that Donna has all been able to achieve, all of.
The transition process must start early, as it has with Vanessa, a lively, intelligent 6-year-old with a quick smile and endearing ways.
Vanessa has been a wonderful daughter, and we've had a lot of fun with Vanessa. But it's also been a lot of work, and it's taken a lot of patience. But the patience and the early intervention has really paid off.
Vanessa has cerebral palsy, a hearing loss, and she is nonverbal. For her to participate in school, she needs some means of communication. Her parents want her to be able to interact socially and to demonstrate her intelligence by communicating with others. At first, she learned sign language.
And this was okay, but then not everybody knows signs, so we had to search for another type of communication that she could use to get her thoughts across to other people.
To talk, Vanessa is learning to use a sophisticated electronic communication device. When she was introduced to the device, in a matter of minutes, she could string together icons to speak the sentences she wanted to say and sing songs like the other kids.
This device lets me speak like anyone else.
Vanessa's mom and dad are her best advocates. They've worked hard to see her included at her neighborhood school.
I think it's really important for Vanessa to be in a group of regular classroom kids, and I think she can keep up with her peers, and I think that she'll probably be a model student, and she will enjoy herself very much at school because she loves to learn.
Not everyone sees the value of including Vanessa in a regular classroom, but her parents are insistent. They know the decisions they're making now will make a big difference in Vanessa's transition into adulthood.
My husband and I feel that early intervention is a very important part of training a child to become a successful person in the community. And so with the early intervention, we've made milestones in Vanessa's case, and we've used communication that we think she'll become a very productive part of society in the future.
Like Vanessa, Stephen has mobility problems. He uses a walkabout or wheelchair to get around. To communicate, he uses a computer and VoicePal electronic device. Stephen has lived at home all his life and attended neighborhood schools.
We wanted Stephen to move along with his peers. We wanted Stephen to participate in as many activities in school, in his school day as possible. Stephen likes the commotion, the activity, the being with the other kids.
Stephen is learning functional skills that may help him become employable as an adult. His high school offers community-based vocational training that allows students to go out into the community and try out various jobs. Stephen loves animals, so he works at the Humane Society walking dogs that need exercise. Looking at Stephen, some people might think he couldn't have a job because he's too disabled. His parents don't see it that way.
We're calling and visiting with people in various businesses, whether it's the food business. Stephen has visited a radio station, a pizza restaurant, the food bank, and the Humane Society. And those groups have been very good to work with and working to find ways that are meaningful to Stephen where he can participate and contribute to that organization.
Stephen will always need some assistance with personal care, feeding, dressing, bathing, but he's capable of doing many things for himself. His parents want him to be as independent as possible as an adult, a road that has not been easy.
Attitudes have been a barrier. At times we have felt isolated and misunderstood about the direction we've taken with Stephen. It hasn't been easy, and transitions aren't always easy to make. But we have just moved ahead and have just tried to work with people and just tried to move ahead and find solutions for those problems.
Yeah, do you know what to do?
Not all disabilities are visible. On the outside, Sarah appears to be doing well, but she has hidden disabilities that make school tough for her.
Sarah is a child that has multiple handicaps. She's learning disabled. She has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. She has tremendous difficulty with reading. Comprehension kinds of applications are very difficult for her.
Just like physical disabilities, invisible impairments like learning disabilities can be barriers to a successful transition. To prepare Sarah for adult life, her parents began early to help her learn ways to work around her disabilities. Sarah's parents and teachers have encouraged her to use tools that will help her read and write, such as computers and student scribes. Sarah is also preparing for adult life by learning practical, everyday skills.
Sarah's done a fair amount of class activity with life skills. Teachers that have taught them some ways to use the academic information in day-to-day activities. Her math skills, for instance, she has learned to manage a checkbook, how to make the entries, how to balance the checkbook, how to make a deposit, how to actually write a check.
Aaron.
Sarah gets along well with other people, so she was selected to help with the drill team. Sarah is bright and she wants to continue her education after high school.
When she graduates, she talks about continuing her education. She's a very good people person and interested in children and being around people, and so I think there'll be employment possibilities. I envision her living on her own.
Sarah's mom offered this advice to other parents.
To be as optimistic about your child's future as you can be, and to always have high goals for them, because I think that what we've seen with our own daughter is the more we expect of her, the more she excels.
Like Sarah, Beth always had aspirations to attend college. Beth is a talented artist and an English major at MSU Billings with a 3.4 GPA.
Planning for college, for me it started in high school, and it started from the beginning. We had to tell teachers that I was college bound, that I wasn't going to go to a VOTEC or a career school or anything like that. I was going to go to college.
Beth's cerebral palsy and asthma make it difficult to get around campus.
I need a lot of special supports, not as much as some people, but what I do need is very obvious. I have to use a wheelchair during the school day. It allows me to travel with the speed of the crowds on the campus. I also use tutors periodically for work that is exceptionally difficult or takes a lot of effort to understand. My plans at this point is to gain a Bachelor of Arts in English with an emphasis in literature, and from there, who knows where I'll end up. Should have something to do with books.
We can learn from the stories of Beth, Donna, Vanessa, Stephen, and Sarah that successful transitions are possible when you plan ahead. There are 3 basic ways that students can make the transition from high school to adult living: no special services, short-term services, and long-term services. The young adults who make successful transitions with no special services establish a work history and gain work experience while in high school. They use their own and their family's connections to find a job and a place to live, and utilize family emotional and financial support to begin adult life. Other young adults need short-term services from public agencies. These services include vocational rehabilitation, job training, job coaching, and job placement. They also include student support services such as readers, note takers, oral testing, and assistive technology available for students in college or vocational schools. Still others who have more significant disabilities need support throughout their lives. These long-term services include supported employment, supported living, congregate living in group homes, adult foster care, personal care attendants, guide dogs, and animal assistants, as well as income supplements and medical care. Individuals who require a lifetime of support must rely on publicly funded programs for financial support, shelter, and personal care. Under the special education law, transition responsibilities for school districts include planning, collaborating with adult agencies, and teaching skills that lead to successful transition.
Is it blue now? Blue.
It's a team process involving educators, employers, parents, and students.
The most important aspect of transition is the student being part of the decision-making process. We have for years more or less directed the IEP, which is the major part of the transition process. But now our emphasis is on the parent as well as the student making decisions on what they would like to do in their future.
To be a part of the decision-making process, a student must be prepared.
We have high school students coming in, and they're not prepared because their parents have kind of protected them for a period of time. And that's not only their parents. That's happening in elementary and the middle school too, because there's always this safety net. And it's nice to have a safety net, but sometimes you need to give kids enough room
that they can grow.
Special educators must prepare their students to enter the job market and live independently.
What we found is employment is a major issue. And it's not so much that they have the skill that the employer wants at that time, but they have good social skills, good grooming skills, good independent living skills.
If a student chooses post-secondary education, disability support services are available in the college setting to ensure that students have physical accessibility to campus and academic accessibility to information.
I would like for every parent to recognize that if the student has academic potential from the very beginning, start gearing that child toward college if that's, an appropriate goal. I believe that every student with a disability has the same right to have every door open just like any other student, and I believe the more doors that you can have open, the more opportunities that you can keep ahead of you.
If a student is going to need short-term or long-term supports, representatives of the agencies which provide these types of assistance are invited to participate in the transition planning meetings.
There are some differences between high school and adult services. As a parent of a child with disabilities, you're probably accustomed to the guarantees under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act idea. But after high school, there are no more guarantees. A young adult is served by adult agencies, each of which has its own eligibility criteria.
We do have 3 criteria that individuals have to pass through in order to be eligible for our program. The first one is that they have to have a documented disability. This has to be documented by a doctor, MD doctor, or a psychologist. The second criteria they have to pass through is that the disability that they have impedes them or prevents them from obtaining employment or engaging in employment they have previously completed. And the third criteria is that if they need our services to help them get or keep a job, and what we're looking for there is motivation to start work.
It's best to investigate adult services at the beginning of a student's senior year to determine eligibility and to start thinking about career possibilities. It's important to be prepared when meeting with agency personnel.
My advice would be first for the student to take an advocate with them into the first meeting, and also to take all medical information with them to that first meeting. Every client needs to know that they have a choice of services. They have a choice whether they will need help seeking a job or going to a training school.
Parents Let's Unite for Kids also helps families working through the maze of adult service agencies.
At Parents Let's Unite for Kids, we provide support to families. We provide opportunities for individuals to attain individual dreams that will lead to independence. We've been successful in many sets of circumstances connecting individuals with disabilities, all ranges of disabilities from mild to severe, in living independently in the community as well as working in self-sustaining positions.
Though special educators can help with transition planning, it's really parents who are the driving force behind successful transitions. Following these guidelines will help. First, plan early. Don't wait until your child turns 18 to begin the transition process. Be sure you sign up for supplemental security income if your child is eligible. If your child needs lifelong supervision, go to court and obtain guardianship so you can continue to help with decisions. If you want to provide financial support, set up a self-sufficiency trust for your child so they can be eligible for government benefits and receive income from your family. Teach your children to do things for themselves. Help them learn to cook, clean, sew, make repairs, budget, and do banking. Encourage your child to work, whether paid or as a volunteer. Help your child learn good work habits and develop a work history. Emphasize communication and social skills. Adults with disabilities need to work to build a social network and get along with others. Make sure your child can use some form of transportation, driving, riding a bike, or using public transportation. Involve your children in taking responsibility for the supports they need. Reinforce your children's efforts at self-advocacy. Encourage them to attend their transition planning meetings and speak up for themselves. 6-year-old Isaac Baldry's mom sums it up best.
I think the thing to try and remember is that even though a lot of times you run into things that are hard, it really pays big when you finally get past it, or when you get to see the results. It does pay big. It's worth the fighting on a daily basis if you have to. It's worth making the phone calls on a weekly basis. Getting yourself known and then understanding that you will be working for your child or for whoever you're working for. The biggest piece of advice I could give would be knowledge is power. And that applies to everyone. For me, knowledge gives me the power to go and seek and try and find what we're working on. Everything I learn opens something else. For Isaac, knowledge is power. By him showing them what he knows, they know there's something inside to work with.
For parents, the hardest part of transition is the letting go, but parents must let go. For young adults with disabilities, the pathways through transition may be rough at times, but the rewards of making it are great.
I just send it up. Go.
For information or help with transition planning, contact Parents Let's Unite for Kids at 1-800-222-7585. The Rural Institute on Disabilities at 1-888-648-7267. Or the Montana Center on Disabilities at 1-888-866-3822.